I'm so excited to do this. Tell me when. My name is Tara Langlois, and I recently moved to the Comox Valley from Edmonton, Alberta.
My name is Kahatua. I'm from the Hoopachesset First Nation. I'm Rodney Sayers from Port Alberni.
I'm Emily Luce, and I'm from Port Alberni.
My name is Diana Sudika, and I am from Evanston, Illinois, which is just north of Chicago.
My name's Paul Tosh. I currently reside in Kansas City, Missouri, United States.
My name is Jay Ryan. I live in Evanston, Illinois, which is just outside of Chicago, and I run a print shop in Skokie, Illinois, called The Bird Machine. I've been doing that I started The Bird Machine in 1999, but I've been screen printing since 95. Well, I was very excited to get invited to come and teach at Squeegeerama. I've been aware that that's been happening here for years, and Andy McDougall's a great teacher and a great printer, and so the opportunity to come here and show my work, travel with Diana Sudika, get to show her work, how we work and trade ideas. That's very exciting to me.
I was Googling screen printing or printmaking on the island and found this, and when I emailed Andy, it was his enthusiasm for the program and just for screen printing in general that sold me on the idea to sign up for Squeegeerama.
Well, we heard about Andy McDougall and the Wache Studio just through our research, our art practice, myself and my partner Emily. We know people, we have colleagues that know Andy and the program here. So we had some interest and we did some reading, exchanged emails with Andy, and just liked what he was doing. And we came to do a workshop here about 4 months ago to get back into it, and sort of renewed my interest in the process. So that's why we're here at Squeegeerama, again to support what they're doing here with the print shop and just to keep that practice going of printmaking.
Well, we've known Andy McDougall for many years through the screen printing community, specifically the gig poster community. These are a number of screen printing artists that are all over the world, many of them in the States, that do posters for bands. And out of that community grew the Flatstock poster convention, which started out I think on the West Coast a number of years ago, 15 years ago at this point. Then they did it in Austin, Seattle, and now it happens annually all over the world.
I love traveling and getting to travel and show how I print and print at other people's print shops, because everybody's got slightly different techniques, and sometimes you learn something, sometimes you fix a problem that some print shop has had and they can't figure out how to fix, and you've learned a lot of, learned the right way to do something.
Well, I really want to, because I do a lot of poster work, I really want to be able to start creating my posters as screen prints instead of just strictly digital. Also, I do a lot of social issues type of work, and the medium of screen printing lends itself to that. And this creating art in general, but that's basically the direction I want to take it.
What I relearned was how not to do a lot of things. So in my head, realizing that I have to do things in a certain order, and that going faster is going to make me take longer. So I think my best takeaway is just to work slow and methodically. That works for me.
Well, it's a way to advance what I know and also about the rest of my practice. So I'm trying to accomplish some things in my art practice, and this is entirely compatible with trying to learn about color and ways to get repeating color onto paper, and how to use different textures of paper or fabric to fold and to get the best results. So this was perfect timing for some other things that I was working on.
Well, I came here hoping to learn more about the process. Starting out with a basic idea, and having 4 or 5 days to push the boundaries of a design and trying to observe what other printmakers are doing, possibly incorporating those techniques and methods into what I'm doing, and hopefully, there's something that I like, or a technique or a result mainly that I feel works with my work or pushes my work a little bit further. I'm really trying to not make my work predictable.
I was hoping to become a better printer in terms of technique. I was very interested in learning about registration and trying to figure out ways to do things easily at home.
Again, everything. I'm a very much a beginner at screen print. I wanted to learn the basics, which I have, but also learn some of the good technical things. Andy is just wonderful with that, but also both Jay and his wife Diane know a whole lot about some of the more I don't know what you call it, difficult techniques and things and how they do it. So just learning from the people who've been doing this a long time and are really, really good at it. That's basically what I came to learn. So hopefully I'll be able to use screen print in my art and my design, and maybe come back next year and learn more.
One of the things that I value is people who have multiple ways to solve a problem. So if this aspect of the printing is not working, the color's not laying down right, the registration's off, the fact that Andy can come up with multiple ways to fix that and solve that. Some of those things are things that I've learned in my time as well, but it's that's something that I appreciate about the way he works. Also, the diverse body of knowledge just within the shop, as far as whether it's running the auto press, the German auto press, or hand pulling T-shirts, any of the different techniques, everything inside that print shop he knows about from top to bottom. It's fun to learn from that.
Andy's a very patient man and very knowledgeable. He's very generous with his time and his experience. And he just makes everybody feel really welcome and sets everybody up for success. He really wants you to succeed and helps you work through your ideas, and contributes his own when maybe he sees something that you don't, which is really valuable as a beginner.
He's a wealth of experience, and he has lots of tricks and solutions, and I think that's, in a process-oriented medium like printmaking, those tricks are invaluable. And they save a lot of time, and you learn that, and it's just like, oh, of course, that makes complete sense.
He's a great technician, and we love the opportunity to work with him, but also to work someplace that we'd never been before.
I mean, Andy is such a wealth of knowledge and so generous with what he knows and with his time. So that was really very useful in terms of that gelling moment that I had, because he was just so thorough in explaining how things work.
Really cool. I like Andy a lot. He's got a lot more patience than I would have working with getting through problems. And what's funny, he'll act like, oh God, he's ready just to blow his top, and then at the end of the day he says, man, I just had so much fun. And I'm like, really? But yeah, it's been good. He knows a lot. I didn't realize until I got here and listening to him talk, I didn't realize how well thought of he is in the industry and how much he actually knows. But it's been a great experience and a blessing to be able to listen to him and learn from him.
Well, I can't remember who said it, but it's sort of that old saw that says, you know, it's 99% perspiration and 1% inspiration.
Just communicating ideas. My background is graphic design and communications and illustration, and it's all about communicating ideas, and just anything that has a message and any way to communicate a message. Is there a specific thing as far as other art and stuff? No, but I just like being able to address issues through medium, through art, which is one of the reasons why I got into screen printing, because that's a huge thing that it does.
What drives me as an artist is enjoying making images that other people would appreciate. Mostly I make images that I appreciate, and then I just try and trust that if I find this drawing funny or interesting in some way, that my friends will probably find that funny or interesting in whatever way. I try to make work that's fun for me, and I feel like if I'm sitting there drawing and sort of giggling to myself, I'm probably doing it right. And then hopefully that just translates to other people. I sort of trust that if I find it funny and interesting, that other people hopefully will.
The main things that I pull from aesthetically these days are various forms of folk art, whether that is, like my background, I'm half Polish and half Italian. Like I love folk art, Russian folk art, Polish folk art. You know, a lot of Eastern European traditions have a lot of great folk art in their history. American folk art, and then as well as indigenous forms of folk art. So I pull from there a lot and inspired by it continually. And then in a more general sense, I'm first and foremost inspired by the natural world. I've always had an interest in being outdoors, but just always have been drawn to flora and fauna.
I'm influenced a lot by nature and the natural world, botanicals, wildlife.
I think that was a big inspiration for me, was to see the possibilities that art makers can achieve. And the idea of, you know, your art practice is supposed to lift up the spirits of people, and you're lifting up your chiefs and your elders, and hopefully lifting up everyone who's looking at your work.
My goals with screen printing are to enjoy the technique for what it is, and that you've got multiples that are relatively inexpensive. Instead of making one painting that goes into one person's house, if you're lucky, instead I'll make 200 of something, and they can go up in 200 dorm rooms and apartments around the country and around the world, and at a price that people can afford. And I enjoy the technique as far as being able to build slowly, build layers, have a finished idea in mind, but have that be a flexible idea that gets to move as the ink goes down and the third color goes down, and it's maybe a brighter pink than was expected. So that shifts how I might approach the fourth and fifth and sixth colors as they get printed. The fact that there's a hand-made aspect to these objects that's different from so much of what surrounds us now, that's beautiful and pristine and clear cut and photoshopped and drawn in Illustrator and laid out in InDesign, and it's beautiful and for a lot of purposes can be kind of boring. And I think that people appreciate that there's built-in imperfections in a lot of screen prints, that you're not always certain that the print will turn out well. It's the inherent charm of the medium, as we say. The thumbprints and the tiny bits of misregistration. So I enjoy that, and the fact that something more of a craft than screen printing is more of a craft than an exact science. At least the way that I approach it, and I think the way that Andy McDougall's approaching it here.
The ideas that I have and the images that I use are really making a living record, a living history of who I am, living amongst the Nuu-chah-nulth people and the Hoopa-chesed people. So my goal is just to continue to work hard and just to have that aesthetic in my art practice about making that visual record or living history, and again, lifting up people up. I think that is my ultimate goal, is to lift up the spirits of the people.
We showed up on Saturday night. We spent Sunday all day basically wading around Comox Bay, and I came here with a plan to make one particular kind of print, and then as soon as I got here, just taking the time and standing and watching the crabs crawl around on our feet in the water, I decided to change my approach and change my goals and come in here with a fresh idea. So that's what I'm working on, and that's what I'll be taking away is sort of being influenced by the experience of being on the trip, I think.
I think what is a real highlight is just to see the print shop so busy and everybody is creating and working, and I think, and just having that interaction with other artists who have different ideas and different backgrounds and come from different places. And I think the real highlight is just being, in the thick of the studio when everyone's printing and getting dirty, and the prints are coming off and we're getting to see the results. So I think that is one of the highlights of many that I've seen. But I think
it's always a great experience to work with other printmakers and artists like Andy. You can always learn something new from someone like him who does this day in, day out, and works with a wide variety of people. So I was hoping to learn some of his knowledge, but beyond that, it's always great working with students and to see how different artists, whether they're just starting out or they're more experienced, their ways of thinking and their ways of putting an image together, because it's different for everybody. So I always get something out of an experience like this.
The highlight working inside the shop is first-time screen printers getting either their first print, their first color down, and sort of seeing, oh, it's ink on paper, I can do this. Or that same person getting the last color down, where it's suddenly the blue and the orange are tied together by an outline, and then suddenly it's, oh, now I can see this is a complete picture and I made this.
Well, I think there's more to come, but I think it's just been working with a new group of people, a group of people that it's, I mean, Canadians and the United States, we have a lot in common, but I can see that there's a lot of differences too, just the way that people think and behave, and that's been really great to experience that. So I think, yeah, the greatest takeaway is just meeting a new group of people and having that experience of being able to make art together, which in my book is a luxury.
Outside of the shop, just coming here and getting to meet the people who live here, the house we get to stay in, My daughter's been going to day camp up in Cumberland, just having a great time, appreciating the environment and the people who are here, have chosen to live here.
Beyond that, it's more about being a tourist, being in a place that I've been to the San Juan Islands. I've spent a lot of time there, but I've not been up this way before. But just feels similar to the San Juan Islands, and the natural beauty here is just astounding to me. Someone who comes from the Midwest in the United States, where in a part of the Midwest where it used to be covered by glaciers, so everything is super flat. It's a different type of natural beauty, but I just love it here.
Well, besides the croissants going through the textile dryer, really listening to the demos was very inspiring and cool. Just hearing Jay and Diana and Andy talking shop was very neat, and seeing everybody working and developing. So in the last couple of days, watching everything come together in this very beautiful way, that was very, very cool.